I'm so mad. I just have to get this off my chest. So this all started yesterday when I, female 22, had a date planned with a guy. He ended up not showing, and so naturally I texted the group chat about it. My sister is in this particular group chat. I'm guessing my sister, Sarah, female 26, told her best friend Jay, male 27, about it because a few minutes later Jay texted me to ask if I'm okay. I told him yes, just a little disappointed since I was pretty excited to try that particular restaurant. He said that he would pick me up at noon the next day so we could go eat there. I told him it wasn't necessary, but he insisted, so I agreed, thinking nothing of it. Well, today he took me out as promised, and while we were eating, Sarah FaceTimed Jay. When he didn't answer, she called again and again. He answered the fourth call and asked her what was going on. She said that she was just checking up on us and told me to call her later. It ended up being almost 8 o'clock. Jay and I ended up spending the rest of the day together, hunting down some collectible dolls we both like and trying different dessert spots along the way. On the way back to my apartment, Jay asked me to change the music on his phone. When I opened it, I saw that my sister had called him about 30 times throughout the day and texted him across multiple different apps. Jay put his phone on Do Not Disturb after lunch, so it made sense why he didn't see those notifications. Once he dropped me off, I called my sister and asked her if everything was all right. She said yes and asked if I had forgotten to call her back sooner. I told her that I was out with Jay, so I didn't get the chance, and figured it could wait since she didn't call me. She hung up, and a few minutes later I got a call from my mom. She sounded angry and told me that I should be ashamed of myself. I said sure, but why today? According to my mom, Sarah called her in tears, saying that she had caught Jay and I having sex in their apartment. I was so freaking confused. I told my mom that I did not, in fact, have sex with Jay and that I didn't even know they lived together. I asked her to give me a minute and I called Jay, but he didn't answer, so now I am here laying on my floor wondering what the hell is going on and putting off another conversation with my mom. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. So your sister thinks she is in a romantic relationship with her best friend. Her best friend does not have feelings for her and doesn't even know he is in a relationship with your sister. Oh boy, you got yourself a delusional sister. Best of luck with that one. Comment 2. Wait a minute. Are your sister and Jay dating, or are they strictly friends with no benefits? 30 missed calls and an unknown amount of texts over the course of a few hours is crazy. To lie to your mom about something that never happened is delusional. Follow up with Jay to make sure he's okay. Her behavior is quite disturbing and borderline obsessive. Comment 3. Your sister is crazy. First, I'd text Jay and tell him to call you at his convenience. Tell him what your sister is saying. See if he knows why your sister is saying this and tell him you want to confront her and your mother together and get this straightened out. Of course, it will probably ruin your sister's relationship with him, but he should know about what she is saying. She has mental problems. Then I'd ask to speak to both your mother and sister together and ask her what she is talking about. You never had sex with Jay. She never walked in on you and you didn't even know that they lived together. Your sister needs professional help. Now, for the update. And if you're enjoying the video, hit that like button. So I'm not religious or anything like that, but Jesus Christ. Thank you everyone for your kind words and support. I don't know what to do with myself. Also, I meant to post an update yesterday, but my friend asked me to go watch the Miguel O'Hara movie with her, and then I just forgot. Sorry about that. I wanted to clear up some confusion before the update. In my original post, when my mom told me that Sarah and Jay shared an apartment, I said, I didn't even know they lived together. Those were my verbatim words to her because last I knew, Sarah had a roommate and Jay lived alone. I was right. That's still the case. Sorry I wasn't clear about that. I'm bad at expressing myself sometimes. Another thing was, people were wondering how Jay found out about my date, or lack thereof, and according to him, he was hanging out with a few of his friends, including my sister, and she told him about it in a joking way. Another thing is that some people are asking why I went out with Jay, if I knew my sister liked him. I didn't know. Just because I talk to my sister doesn't mean she talks to me the same way. If I had known, I would have talked to her about it first, because I know from past experience that my sister is a jealous person. Anyway, last night was a doozy. Jay called me back. He said he was going to stay at a friend's because he would feel safer with company. I asked him if there had ever been anything romantic between him and my sister. He said the only thing was that he kissed her at a New Year's party at midnight because she was feeling left out. Obviously, I can't confirm if that really is the only thing. He also said that he had never even talked about moving in with Sarah, so he doesn't know why she would say they were living together. After I spoke with Jay, I called my mom again. She still sounded pissed, but this time I could hear my sister crying in the background and my dad yelling to get our asses over there, our being Jay and I, presumably. Well, as I told my mother earlier, I didn't have Jay's ass and I don't like to drive at night, so I told them I would go the next morning. That also gave me time to gather any evidence I could to prove my innocence. Jay even sent me a copy of his lease to prove that he and Sarah do not live together. I went to my parents alone because Jay has a job. As soon as I arrived, my parents started yelling at me. Just the usual stuff, that I was disrespectful, but they never expected this from me. How dare you do this to your own sister? You know she already has a hard time. Why make her life harder? My dad even called me a whore. That was fun. I kind of just sat there and did the math on how much faster I would be able to finish my grad program and flee the country, or at least the state. I wasn't very tuned in until my mom told me that if Sarah lost her job because of me, that I would need to financially support her until she found another one. That's when I snapped and told them that if they thought I was going to do that, then they were as delusional as my sister. Missing one day of work because of a tantrum over something that didn't even happen was not going to get her fired. My dad said that Sarah had been missing work to make sure that Jay wasn't leaving work early to go see me. I found out. My sister also told them that Jay was missing a lot of work, so he wasn't taking enough home for their bills, so they had been sending her rent money for months. I told them it wasn't true, and I showed them the lease Jay sent, where it clearly says the day the lease started and when it ends. It also had his address, which is not the same as Sarah's. My mom brought Sarah out of her room, where she had apparently been this entire time, and told her to explain herself. Sarah said that he probably got that other apartment so that he could be closer to me when he went on supposed business trips. First of all, Jay is a software developer. I don't know what business trips he would go on. Second, nice way to find out that my sister doesn't even know where I live because Jay's apartment is almost an hour away from mine. I showed my parents that on Google Maps and they finally started to believe me. Sarah started crying and calling me a liar. My dad told me that even if what I said was true, I shouldn't have been so hard on Sarah and that as her sister I should be helping her when she's having a rough time like this. I told him I wasn't a therapist, but if she ever decided to get help, I would pitch in. I left after that. There was nothing else I needed to say, and there was no point in waiting on an apology. My dad looked uncomfortable and my mom was too busy consoling my sister to notice me leaving. I haven't talked to them since that. Sorry if you were expecting a fun update where I somehow got revenge on my sister or something crazy and petty. If you have questions, I'll probably answer. Thanks for caring though, and those of you that shared your own stories under my original post, damn, sorry you went through that. Comment 1. Has your dad seriously not apologized to you for calling you a whore? I'm sorry for what you and Jay are dealing with just for hanging out. Your family seems to really suck. I do hope you told Jay that apparently she is following him though. Then the original poster responded with, I told Jay everything after that whole thing. He said he was going to try to get a restraining order. Comment 2. Wow, just wow. Your parents are as delusional as your sister. I saw your first post and thought she was nuts, but by God. Poor Jay has gone to stay with friends because your sister is stalking him, waiting for him outside work. Your sister needs professional help. I would suggest you get Jay to reach out to your parents and just explain there hasn't been anything between him and your sister and he doesn't live with her. She needs professional help now or he will need to press charges soon. Comment 3. Yeah, your sister has some mental health problems going on and made up this crazy scenario to put all her problems on you. Just take a step back from your family, but encourage your parents to get her some professional help first. Now, for the next story. This has been driving me crazy and I need some advice. I'm female 34, been married to my husband, male 35, for almost a year now and we dated for 3 years before. Ever since we started dating, whenever we go out without the other, we both let each other know where are we and when we arrive, leave as a safety thing. Example, hey, I arrived to X bar, everything fine, or hey, I'm leaving the bar on an UB, should be home in 10 minutes. Now this weekend I went out with my friend, Amy, not real name. We went to a restaurant and to dance. Around 2 a.m., we decided to go home, and because we live in opposite directions, we each took a different Uber. As usual, I texted my husband to let him know I was going home, and he told me that he was also leaving his friend's house, and we should arrive at the same time. I knew that he was out with some of his friends that included Amy's fiancé, and we all knew each other for a long time, but I wasn't really thinking about that, just following my routine. We both got home. I texted Amy to let her know I was home safe and went to bed. When I woke up the next morning, I had tons of messages and a few missed calls from Amy. My husband also had some messages and calls from Amy's fiancé. In her text, she was asking me what I had told her fiancé. What had my husband told to the fiancé? How dare we meddle in their relationship, etc. The texts on my husband's phone were just asking if I had arrived home and if I had any idea where Amy was. I called Amy and she, again, asked what had I told her fiancé. I told her I haven't spoken with him. And she called me an idiot and a liar because if I didn't speak to him, how did he know I had left at 2 a.m.? I explained to her that I had texted my husband as I always do. She said I'm an idiot for not telling her that I was doing that and that my husband is a controlling idiot for making me text him and for telling her fiancé that she was also leaving. Then she hung up and hasn't picked up again. My husband said he only told his friends that he was leaving because he wanted to arrive at home at the same time as me, and that if my friend did something, I don't know what, that's on her, not me. The thing is, this has reached my other friends, and some are saying that I should text my husband when I arrive home, not when I leave the club, and that I am an idiot for not telling Amy what I was texting my husband. Some agree with my husband and say this is on Amy for lying. She said we both stay dancing even later, and not on me for texting my husband. Honestly, I don't know what to think, as I feel like maybe I should just text my husband arriving home instead to avoid compromising others or to avoid creating an imaginary curfew for my friends. So Reddit, am I an idiot? Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot. Sounds like Amy is mad at your healthy relationship because she got caught up misbehaving. There is nothing wrong with texting your husband, nor do you have to let anyone know you did. It's really just common courtesy in a relationship and good communication skills on your guy's end. Any friend that says otherwise needs to be learning from you guys, not belittling it. Comment 2. Not the idiot. It sounds like your friend is up to some shady poop and is mad that you unintentionally blew her cover. I'd be pretty pissed if my friend was trying to use me as an excuse or way to hide her infidelity or whatever weird poop she's doing behind her husband's back. The fact that any of your other friends are calling you the idiot over communicating with your husband for safety purposes is honestly so messed up. Comment 3. Not the idiot. Clearly you've been swept up into some drama you didn't even know existed. There's no way that makes you an idiot, just oblivious to something going on in your friend's life. You're absolutely allowed to let your husband know where you are and when you come and go. Pretty typical in families. Now, for the update. It's been a crazy week. I haven't heard Amy's version of what happened during that hour and a half she was missing, but her fiancé told my husband that everything's fine and that the reason she was late was because she decided to walk home while smoking and didn't want him to know and be disappointed she's smoking again. As of the wedding, so far that's still happening, but I'm no longer part of the bridal party as Amy considers I'm no longer part of her trust circle. I'm still invited to the wedding, but as my husband's +1 because he's still part of the groomsmen. I'm glad I'm not a bridesmaid anymore, and I'm not sure if I'll be comfortable going to the wedding, because Amy and most of her bridesmaids act as if I was trash talking her to her fiancé when I haven't even spoken to him. P.S. I wanted to thank all of those who supported me. I was really worried I had done something bad, but seeing so many people say that they do the same with their significant other or family, I feel much better. Comment 1. Well, that guy likes being cheated on. 2.5 hours of walking home and smoking. Her reaction was such that I cannot believe smoking is the only thing she was hiding. I'm sure the follow-up post will be, update Amy was cheating all along. Comment 2. Amy is cheating on her man and has the audacity to get mad at you. It's also not controlling to let someone know when you've arrived somewhere and that you're on the way home. It's called courtesy. Comment 3. It sounds like Amy wants to do sketchy things during girls' night without her fiancé finding out, and your healthy relationship with your husband foiled those plans. You did absolutely nothing wrong. I communicate with my husband when I'm on my way home from work so that if I'm taking unusually long to get home, he could reach out to make sure I'm okay. He does the same for me. Since her cover was blown, she's mad because she feels like it's your fault, while she could just own up to her own actions. She's got to blame someone, and unfortunately it's you. Sounds like you're not losing out on anything if this friendship doesn't continue. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.